Doesn't.
Hello everyone, my name is Jared Krichevsky. I am a concept artist working in the film industry. I've been working in the industry for about 3 years now. So I've been farming for about 3 years, and next year is the harvest. So it's really exciting, and what I've learned about movie concept art is it's a long man's game. And the reason why is it takes a long time to get a full production movie going. So I come in very early on in the process, and where's my stuff? Ah, there we go. So I come in very early in the process and design using Zbrush for concept art. And the reason why I like using Zbrush for concept is because producers don't have the ability to imagine things on their own. So we need to give them fully realized concepts very quickly so they can go off to the races. So here's an example of some of the side work that I do. So let's grab the mouse, there we go. So all using Zbrush, either Zbrush rendering and then Keyshot on top of that. I like doing fan art on the side, so I did a whole series of Futurama characters and Crumb from Aw, Real Monsters. Some hard surfacey kind of mechbot stuff and creature sculpting. I am also a Zbrush instructor at Noman School of Visual Effects. So I teach creature modeling and sculpting to new students. You should definitely take my class if you get a chance. That's a shameless plug from me. So I'm going to show you for the demo today this image that I created just for CTN this week. And this image was all done in Zbrush and Keyshot. So all the hard surface mech stuff you can now do inside of Zbrush, which is super exciting. Looks a bit dark on this screen, but that's all right. It looks all moody and awesome. I'm going to show you how I went about creating this guy. And all of this is done inside of Zbrush. So all this kind of like hard surfacey mech stuff can now be done super easy. I would say, in addition to working my full-time job, this took me about a week to do, but generally it would take about 3 working days to complete something like this. Maybe more if I'm not distracted by my dog and fiance and such. So let's, there we go. So using basic primitives as a starting point, I'll use transpose master. I'll use these basic cube, cylinder, sphere-ender, which is my new favorite toy, and spheres. And I'll use them with the transpose, trim, clipping tools, etc. A lot of clip, circle, center, and all of these toys, along with using Dynamesh as well. So all of this can be done very, very fast now, and along with the insert multi-mesh tools and such like that. Very, very fast now. So I'm a big fan of creating custom interfaces. And you'll see how I've customized my interface inside of Zbrush. Is I created this hard surface menu just for the purpose of doing this. Because when you're jumping around in different menus, sometimes it can get a bit distracting, and then you're like, oh, what's this do? What's that do? Well, I need all my tools available to me right away. So I'm a big fan of creating custom interfaces, which you'll see me talk about further. So in addition to that, I'll use Projection Master on top of all of this and get that further detail in there. And then once I've machined out all these parts, kind of on their own, what I'll do is I'll create a custom insert multi-mesh brush. So these are all pieces that I've created and now combine them together to create an insert brush. So you can just do massive damage and just create so fast now. It's so intuitive. It's crazy. And every time Zbrush comes out with a new feature, I find myself having to rethink my workflow and rethink about how I got to approach this thing. So you can see here's like an early block out demo for that. I'll show you how I created the hex mesh on the panels for the arms, and that was by using a polyplane, extruding it, taking it to Dynamesh, and then adding surface noise. And in the surface noise plugin, there's this whole hex mesh feature in there. So I'll take that, do a noisemaker on it, and then I'll apply that to the surface. So now I have this hex mesh surface on top of that. And from there, I'll mirror and weld it in Z, right? So I'm taking out all the other side of it, and this makes each piece separated. I'll then auto group those pieces and separate them out into the shape that I want, and I'll then Dynamesh that for the low resolution topology. So you can see that's how I got some of this hex mesh paneling going on the side. And posing this guy, I make sure I decimate as I go to keep polygons low. And it's really vital that at this stage you start to clean it up and really make it nice and workable. So you can see, like, I can get one of this arms pieces up to like 50 million polygons. But if I try to pose 50 million polygons, it's not going to be very helpful. So by decimating, I managed to get the whole body, this whole thing down to about 8 million polygons, which is just fantastic, and Zbrush handles it like a whiz. So, and then I'll use like Z-spheres for these different like raylene and tube. I'm a fan of the kitchen sink method. I will throw everything at a sculpt, at a design, at a concept, and Zbrush has so many features like that that I can just toss stuff in there and see what works, and it's just so fast now creating something like this. So then after I've done grouping everything together, getting it posed out, I'll then separate the elements out by material and split it up again. So now what I've done is I've split it up, and this is straight up in Keyshot, and then I'll do different Keyshot renders for paint over. Because Keyshot is just a fantastic rendering system, I'll use it for everything. And so here you can see the different render passes that I've used to comp this image together. And then we have the final image at the end, comped in and painted on in Photoshop. And this is, it looks a bit contrasty on my screen, but on this screen here, but it's just a really nice way to sync a piece together, and all done very, very fast. And clients love the speed that Zbrush offers, so you can just work through this stuff very, very fast. So let's go ahead and jump into Zbrush, and you can see that I have my custom menu already created. So when I have my custom menu here, you can see I've got basic materials down here. I've got my insert meshes available, so anytime I finish something out, I can create a new insert mesh right away. I've also got my move, topological, move elastic, and over here I've got some additional sculpting brushes as well. These come more into play with organic stuff. So there we go. And loaded in here, now one thing I don't see enough artists taking advantage of inside of Zbrush is the Lightbox. I dump everything into my Lightbox so I can scroll through it and access it very, very fast. Right as I open up Zbrush, the Lightbox will show up, and I'm just hitting the comma key for that. And I'll also do the same thing here. So you can see here's something I did last year or this year for SIGGRAPH. Feels like last year. But what's awesome is that it's on your computer, it's ready to go, straight out of the box. And you can see that this is something I did Forceograph, and Pixelogic has kept it here on their in their Lightbox ever since. So I feel honored that this guy is stuck in there. So let me go ahead and jump into the hard surface stuff. So here's the piece finished inside of ZBrush. You can see I was messing around with different material variations. Overall, this is very, very fast to do. Turn off the polypaint materials real quick. So you can see, looking at this guy, let's go ahead and merge visible. It's going to take the time. So now everything's all together into one piece here. And we can take a look at the mesh here. Very simple, dynameshed piece, or sorry, decimated piece, and just getting it together very, very fast. So you can see, like, now he's like, ha ha. Okay, if you're not making sound effects, you're not doing your job right. So there we go. And I'm going to show you the process kind of behind building some of these hard surface pieces. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and initialize ZBrush. I'm just going to start off with a clean slate here. I'm going to grab my document and just change the color to a nice light background here. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I've been thinking about what I wanted to do, and I did a small, quick initial thumbnail while I was sitting down. So I've got a basic idea of what I want to start with. And I'll just generally start with primitives. So I'm just going to, why not, let's just start with the cube, classic cube. So I'm going to grab that, frame it, and look at this guy. So this is just a classic polymesh cube here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my custom menu that I've made, and that is not my custom menu. What I did, there it is, my hard surface tools here. So now I have everything I need, which is all my clipping brushes, slicing, trimming, all this stuff. Leaning on my Wacom tablet here. I've got everything I need right in this palette. So I've got Activate Symmetry, I've got radial symmetry in here readily available. I've got all my polish tools, mirror and weld, group loops, Dynamesh, all the goods right in here. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to size this down in X a little bit and just squash this guy down and jump into my transpose tool. There we go. And just start going to town here. There we go. Okay, nothing groundbreaking yet, I don't think. We're just going to squeeze that down in here. Okay, so now we've got this guy here. This is the perfect time to take it into Dynamesh. So I'm going to turn off blur, turn off project, and turn off the polish. I just want a straight up cube, like no bevel, no nothing. And I'm going to take up my resolution all the way to 512. Too high. There we go. And let's just go ahead and Dynamesh it. Nice and fast. So now I have a Dynameshed cube, which means that now sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want with it. So let's go ahead and I'm going to change my material here to something a little more basic. And I'm going to go ahead and start grabbing my trim curve tool. Okay, there we go. So now I'm just going to start trimming off edges here. And this is just going to make it look, not so cubey. I can trim off some of these edges here and here. I'm not worried about perfect symmetry here because if I need to, I can always mirror and weld and get that symmetry back. So I'm just going to continue trimming off these edges here. And let's mirror and weld that again. So now I've got what looks like a pretty cool basic shape going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this. And I'm a big fan of clone as you go. And the reason why is, what if I want to come back to this shape again? I don't need to build this over again. I've already got it right here in the menu. And one thing paranoia has taught me is to save often. So when I save, I will go into my computer, I'll go into the project files, I'll go into the program files, Pixelogic, and for R6, and I'm just going to grab my project files, so Z projects. I'm going to just create a shortcut right up here, and that's what's great about Windows, is that you can just create a shortcut here. So if I need to, I can always access my projects from my window very, very fast. It's all about speeding up your workflow and being efficient. So I'm going to call this CTN bot, right? That's a cool name for it. Okay, so now that I've got this guy saved, if I open up my projects, now I can see that CTN bot is in my Lightbox. Okay, so now this is where we start having fun and just playing with shapes here. So I'm just going to squash that down, and maybe this is going to be the head, some kind of box piece with that. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing my clipping tools, and I'm going to start clipping. I love clip circle center because now I can add shapes on top of this. So with this little plus sign that's in the middle of clip circle center here, if I hold Alt down, I'm now adding on a circle shape on top of that. So right, nice and clean, very, very cool. If I want to re-Dynamesh at this point, because you can see that as you clip circle and as you trim, your topology is getting just messed up in different ways. So what I'll do is I'll re-Dynamesh that by control dragging outside of the mesh, and now I have a nice clean Dynamesh ready to continue sculpting on, right? So I'm going to hit Control W to polygroup this all together, and guess what? Clone as you go. Now I have this piece ready to go, and let's start adding some fun, cool shapes with the clipping tools. So I'm going to subtract a few shapes out of here, right? Using the clipping tool, and you can see you're getting a bit of this edging here. Not a problem. Just re-Dynamesh and do a polish by features, and you'll actually get a little bit of a bevel here. And if I ever find that it's just not working for me, I can always go in with my H polish brush and just polish some of this stuff down. But now we built a pretty complex shape that this would have taken me a while to do topologically correct in Maya. So this is what's great about ZBrush, is the iteration factor is so much faster. So now let's add on some shapes here. Yep. Let's add on some shapes here, making sure the plus is inside of the mesh. And we're adding on different pieces here. Let's re-Dynamesh that in there, nice and Dynameshed. Make sure it's grouped together. And let's continue doing some fun stuff. Maybe adding or taking my trim brush, and now that I have this here, I can just slice this stuff right off. So I can get rid of these, really hard edges here. Okay. And I'm just holding spacebar to move my trim tool all the way around. I'm just trimming off those edges so it looks a bit cooler. Let's re-Dynamesh, and let's do another polish by feature there. And if I always want to, I can always go in with my H polish brush and just harden up some of those edges in there. I mean, and look at this. This would have taken me forever to build inside of Maya, but in just a few minutes, and while I'm blabbing, I've gotten all this stuff done for you. Now that we've got this shape completed, what I can do is, this is the kitchen sink method. I'm throwing everything I got at it. I'm going to throw it into Projection Master, and I'm going to do a double-sided projection here with deformation turned on. And now, what we can do with this stuff in here is we have, so you can see I can't turn the model in 3D space anymore. I'm purely projecting from a 2D perspective. What I can do is now grab my line tool with like a hard squared brush here. I can start adding on bits of technology and doodads here. Let's go this way. And what's cool about this is now that it's in here, I can move this around as I see fit, right? So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna drop out of Projection Master. Bam, ready to go. And let's see if I mirror and weld if I did it on the correct side. No, I didn't. Okay, that's fine. Just project, drop down, project right back into Projection Master. And this is just, this is ideation. This is fast. It's all about speed and ideas. So I'm just gonna draw that out real quick. And let's go into subtract here. And let's subtract some pieces. Now, generally, I would be a little more cautious with some of this stuff, but for sake of demonstration, I'm moving very, very fast. So now, let's also grab like good old Alpha 06 here, and with the drag dot, and I love this because you can just add some pieces here this way, and you can even go crazy with this and like adding grids, you know, stuff like that. Whatever you got to do. Now I'm going to drop that out of Projection Master. I've got that done. I'm going to go ahead and mirror and weld this to the other side. So now I've got this nice piece of technology done from both sides. If I want to add something here, but not on the other side, I'm just going to mask this off and drop this down into Projection Master. I'm going to go back to my line tool, go back to my square, and let's just, I want to add on here. I'm holding shift as I go down to help keep a straight line. And let's increase the size here. There we go. Let's hit G. Let's drop out of Projection Master. And now I've got this cool like additional feature right here. So fast. Like this is crazy fast, you guys. Okay, so now I want to add something nice to the front here. And let's go ahead and drop that down into Projection Master. Let's maybe do a subtraction here. You know, maybe this is where some kind of piece is going to go. I don't know. Something's connecting in here. And I like to think of every piece as its own asset, right? Something that's not going to serve just one function, but multiple functions. So I'm going to hit G. I'm going to pick that up. Okay, a little bit of edging there, not a problem. I'm just going to re-Dynamesh. And I'm actually going to jump up in my Dynamesh projection to about 1024. And I'm going to re-Dynamesh here. Nice and fast. And then I'm going to go ahead and mirror and weld that. Okay. Make sure that's grouped together. Now, guess what? I'm going to clone it again. Clone as you go. And let's say I want a little bit of extra detail out of this that I've already sculpted. I'm going to go ahead and move this guy back into space a little bit. And watch this. I'm going to mirror and weld this guy in Z space. And, you know, bam, I've got another asset right here. I'm going to clone that in case I want to save that for later. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this guy now in Y in 180 degrees. In 180, there we go. Nope, that was not quite 180. Let's try that again. Bam, there we go. Now I'm going to move this guy over, and let's go ahead and mirror and weld again. So now I've got this cool piece that I could use for something else. So guess what? I'm going to clone as I go. I'm going to repeat that so many times because it's so necessary. Oh, thank you. Now that I've got this piece here, let's do something to the top. Let's add some detail here. I'm going to mask this guy out. And let's drop that into Projection Master. Let's add here something right down the middle. Let's squeeze that in a little bit. And let's hit G to pick that up. Now that detail is baked in there, nice and fast, and it looks technologically sufficient. And you know what? I'm going to add just some like little maybe areas where screws would get inserted, stuff like that. So I'm going to go back into Projection Master. I use Projection Master a lot. And it's fantastic, especially if you have custom-made alphas. I forgot my custom-made alphas today, but that doesn't matter because everything straight out of the box out of Zbrush is pretty spectacular. So I'm going to grab my drag dot, And I'm going to grab a harder edged circle here, alpha 12, and let's just add some like little additional detailing here and here, and maybe subtract as well, you know. And I'm guessing I did this on the wrong side, which is fine. You know, let's do it again. Let's pick that up. Let's do a mirror and weld and see if I got it right. I want to mirror and weld that in Z space. There we go. Yes, I nailed it. Awesome. It's always a happy little accident. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to also finish this guy out real quick. And add, there we go. Pick that up. Now that's added in there. And I didn't have to sculpt that or nothing. It's all there, very, very easy. And now we have this on both sides. So this is an asset already done, already created. Really, really cool feature. So now what I'm going to do is, guessed it, clone as I go. And now I'm going to go ahead and pre-process this so I can use this as an insert mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-process current. And what Zbrush is going to do is it's going to analyze the curvature of the surface, and it's going to drastically reduce down the amount of polygons in this guy. So now it's reordering those polygons, and now it's pre-processed that. What I can do is now take this. I've noticed about 5% of decimation is usually what works best for me. And now I'm going to decimate it. So I've got about 50,000 polygons there. That may seem like a lot. So I'm going to drop that down to maybe 2% of decimation. Decimate that. And now I've got 20,000. And 20,000 seems to be the magic number for this piece because it's holding all its form together. And now I have this piece done, right? Now that it's decimated, it's totally done. So what I can do is take this and create an insert mesh brush out of this guy. And now that I have this piece, if I want to draw on additional pieces, you just draw them on. I'm going to turn on symmetry here. So now I've got all these pieces just ready to go, ready to create something new here. And what I can do, and decimation is not the end of the process here. Let's take that. Let's group split this apart. So I'm going to split this into separate subtools. I'm going to take this piece here and look at it. Maybe smash it in a little bit or move it over. And let's, I don't know why I keep touching these things. Let's mirror and weld it. And I love this method for creating like new pieces very quickly, mirror and weld. And now I've got this cool like little piece. I don't know what it does, but we'll find a purpose for it. So I'm going to clone that guy, and I'm going to make this an insert mesh piece as well. So I'm going to go create insert mesh. I'm going to append that to my tool. So now I've got, yes, I'm going to hit OK. And now I've got two tools that I've created in a very short span of time. So now I can take this guy and draw it on, you know, do whatever I got to do. Let's hit X. Let's add on some pieces here. So you get the point. This is how I'm going to create tools very, very quickly. So let's go back to this guy. And I'm going to size this up in X. And you know, maybe this is a gearbox or something else. So this is how I go about creating tools very, very fast inside of ZBrush. And now that I've got that, I can go in and with my insert custom menu here, all these pieces I've either created from my own projects or the Bad King library. That guy's amazing. You know, like why sculpt a nut and bolt ever again if it's all there for you? So I'm going to just scroll through here, and I'm going to find my mech brush that I created specifically for this show. Oops, that was the primitives. Don't want that guy. I want this guy right here. And this is something I created just for this demonstration. So this has all these tools that I created from that previous project. Now that I've got these in here, I can just start drawing on pieces very quickly and sizing them down for additional functions. I want this guy active in X, right? So I'm just going to draw this on. Let's move this down. Let's go out of the transpose, move it that way. And let's just move this into the proper space. Maybe scale it down a little bit and move it out this way. Just a little bit, just so it seems like it's making sense. And what's cool is I can now save my project because I'm paranoid. There we go. I really don't like this touch thing. There we go. So now I've got a pretty complex piece built very, very fast. Let's see what else I can just toss on there to see if I can create a little more interest out of this mech. So let's add this guy in here. I'm just going to smash this guy in here. I'm going to kit bash it together, nice and fast. There we go. Let's grab my brushes again. And I created a camera lens here. And this camera lens was just created using radial symmetry. So having radial symmetry on, you can create all these little square details very, very fast. So I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to smash that down just a little bit. Now this is like some high-tech camcorder. Oop. There we go. Let's move that apart. And all of this is decimated. It's all very low topology, except for this guy. Oop. And since this guy isn't decimated, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and group split this apart, hit OK. So now all these guys are available on separate subtools, right? They're still there. So let's take this guy, let's isolate him, and let's pre-process current. So right now it's at about 800,000 polygons. Let's decimate that. And now that's about 16,000 polygons, way more efficient. So now that I've got that guy in there, let's continue to add additional complexity in here. Maybe some additional clips or just some pieces here. Let's grab this guy. Okay, let's try. There we go. I'm just going to rotate this down. And now this guy is already sufficiently more complex than what I started with. Let's grab those camera lenses again. And let's create some little eyes here or something. It's like, okay. Smash those in and shape them down. There we go. Very cool. Very, very fast. You've seen me do this. This is how I work. You can do this so fast now, building this kind of hard surfacey fun stuff. So let's grab some additional pieces here. Let's take a look at maybe. Here we go. Take this guy, and let's draw this out here. That guy got a little warped, so let's find something else maybe. There we go. Woo. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is let's just continue adding some additional pieces. I've got my whole library here of stuff. I'm going to grab this piece here I created for another project. Oops. Turn off curve mode. I just want it as an insert mesh. Let's take this. And this is going to be the foundation for the neck, right in the middle. There we go. And because this guy is actually low topology, I'm just going to take it and move it. Move it into place here and create something that's, there we go. So one thing that's happened now is you can see this guy is getting pretty big on the grid, right? It's getting really, really big. So what I can do is I can go ahead and merge visible. And now I have this guy all together. I'm going to hit unify, and that's just going to help keep size manageable for it. Now I've got this guy together. Let's grab some additional pieces from my library. My clipping brush customs. Let's see. I'm a big fan of this guy right here. Let's grab this guy. Let's move this down over here. And it just is adding that additional layer of complexity. There we go. Let's also see what I've got here. I'll grab this guy right here, this piece. Let's make sure we have symmetry turned on. If you don't have symmetry turned on and you mess up, you can always mirror and weld. Yeah, I lost that other piece, but that's not a big deal. Let's move topological and just shape this in there real quick. Let's continue adding some pieces. Let's grab. Now you can see this stuff here happened from decimation because I wasn't looking at it from all angles. So you can always just decimate at a higher percentage and this stuff will go away. It's not a big problem. So let's go back to my menu, my projects. Let's go to my all insert. And let's find some additional pieces here ready to go. This guy. Okay. So I'm just gonna let's grab this guy. Where is he? Let's grab this guy here. Make sure I'm in symmetry. I'm just going to size that down, rotate it around, and then move this guy into place. Just hitting shift as I move it around. There we go. Let's find a piece that'll go here. And I'm less concerned about function, but I'm more concerned about design and what the look is and the feel is that I want of this guy. Let's maybe grab this guy right here, and we can use this to create the back of the neck. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to start machining out these parts, but once you do, you've got a whole library of stuff available to you. I'm just smashing this around. I don't really care. And now it looks like the spine of the neck here. Now let's add something for like the sternocleidomastoid, so those neck muscles right there. Let's grab, let's continue to grab pieces from my library. And I love these pistons that I created. These like really cool pistons here. I can just take this, rotate that down. Let's size that up a bit. It's a bit, they're a bit large. And let's just smash that right in there. Just take that, moving that down into place. And doing this kind of stuff, this kind of like hard surface stuff, was unheard of even a year or two ago inside of Zbrush. But that's what's so beautiful, is that you can do it all so quickly now. There we go. Let's grab a piece where it looks like that'll sit in there. So I'm going to grab my custom, my cyborg brush here that I created. Let's grab that, let's grab this ball joint. Let's just draw that out. And rotate that into place. And now, you know, it's not perfectly functional, but as a design, it's coming together pretty quick. So let's add, let's continue to add some pieces now for maybe the clavicle, something that's going to feel very clavicle-like. Maybe something for the base of the body. So for the base of the body, maybe I'll grab, let's see, let's go back. And once you've got this library you've created, all these pieces are at your command for building new stuff. Let's grab this guy right here. And let's draw it on this way. And normally for this kind of stuff, I'll work out of perspective. So here we are in perspective mode, and here we are out of perspective mode. Generally, I will work out of perspective mode. Let's rotate this up a little bit. And move this back into space here. Now let's add a piece for the body. So let's grab this guy right here. And normally I'll find like a flat surface to draw these things out of. So we're just moving this into place. Let's maybe scale this up big time. And let's find a way to rotate this. And I'm just holding shift to snap it as we rotate. I'm just going to smash up. There we go. And looks like I dropped out of symmetry there. No problem. Let's grab this guy. Let's rotate it on its axis here. And let's size this up. You know, and then I'm also looking for these like little happy accidents where things collide in an interesting way. There we go. So already, like in a span of a very short time, I've got a brand new design for this guy ready to go. And I'm going to grab maybe some more of these kind of beam pieces. Let's see if I can draw that out. There we go. And this is going to be our clavicle. Something that mimics human anatomy a little bit. Let's rotate this around. Very, very cool. So I'll show you another trick. I'm going to save this guy out real quick. I'll show you another trick as to how I got these kind of beams carved in there. So let's just grab this guy real quick. He's Dynameshed, and that's why I'm a fan of Clone As You Go. And I'm just going to start slicing it up. And I'm going to do that with our slice curve brush right here. Go through this. And I'm just going to start carving it up, and it's going to make it look like an 80s funky party. Because now we're going to get all these bright colors going. Okay, so now that I've got, let's keep doing this. Let's keep slicing this up, and it looks, you know, like funky 80s party. So we're just gonna keep carving it up, and what I'm gonna do is I'm now got these two sides polygrouped, right? I'm gonna make sure I have double-sided visibility turned on. Let's come down here to our display properties. Let's double side that. Now I can see both sides here. Let's invert that. Let's invert this guy. And let's group visible. That's it. Now I've got this piece right here ready to extrude in. Now watch this. I'm also going to grab my slice circle, and with my slice circle turned on, I'm going to turn square on, and that means it draws out perfectly from the center of our object here. And now we've sliced this guy through, both sides, nice and pretty. Now I'm just going to take this guy, invert that, group these guys together, and what you can do now with Zbrush is you can slice while these polygroups are separated. So this is where I get to have fun and start slicing in some of these like beams that are going to go in there. And it's like carving up clay. I don't even think about topology anymore. It's not even a factor with how I work. There we go. So now let's grab this. There we go. And let's throw in one here for good measure. Nice and fun. Let's go back to our slice circle. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these guys, hide these out, these main pieces, and I'm going to group visible. So now this is all one piece together. Now you can start seeing where this stuff is going to start coming together. Let's hide this guy. Now I've got all these pieces together. I'm going to group visible. Now let's start doing some other fun stuff. Grab my slice circle here, or actually, let's grab my slice curve. Just slice right in the middle of that circle there. Okay, cool. So now let's hide this piece. Group visible again. So now I've got, you can see the beginnings of how I slice this guy up. So now what we're going to do is let's take slice circle again, and let's start adding some additional circle slices in here. And this is like an area where like a bolt could go, or you know, we're just adding additional complexity. Something nice and sizable here, and then maybe one right in the middle of there. There we go. Now I've got this guy, and I can just take all this, group that together, and now let's continue to add some additional complexity. So let's add some areas where those bolts are going to go. That was a terrible slice. Let's try that again. And for slicing in the middle of a circled area, what I'll do is I'll just slice it out and kind of gauge the original slice and then dial it back in from there, right? Let's do the same thing with this guy right here. That was terrible. Let's try that again. There we go. Back to my selection tool, and let's hide these guys out. Let's group this together. Let's invert that, group that together, and now we're going to start making some magic. I'm going to clone this together. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just run a group loops operation on this guy. So let's see, let's go to group loops. I'm going to turn off loops, maybe one loop, that's all I want. No polish, triangles I don't care about, let's do it. Let's group that together. And now I've got this guy ready to go. Ready? I'm going to take this and I'm going to extrude in. And just by holding control down and clicking in the middle of the transpose tool. Nope. There we go. Want to make sure we have this guy selected, masked out. There we go. We invert the mask. And now, watch as we go in. And we've extruded in here. So now we've got all this nice complexity done. Now this piece is done. Let's group this together. Let's re-dynamesh it. And yeah, there's some jaggies here and stuff like that. And there are ways to take care of that stuff. Generally, I'll just run a polish by features on it. If it, you have to do a little bit more cleanup work on it beforehand, but for sake of demonstration, it's pretty quick. You can see with some of my other pieces here, where's our guy? There we go. With some of these other pieces, you can get it very clean. So don't worry about all that jaggy stuff anyway. So that's how you would go ahead and build some of these pieces like that. So let's continue adding some more complexity here. Let's grab these little disc guys, throw that in there. And let's add, after I do this one thing, let's try, where's that beam, or no, clip. I tend to name everything clip and beam, I don't know why. Draw this out. And we're just smashing this right into place. There we go. Very, very cool. So very, very quickly, we've got the head to our robot going. Now, I want to add some like cloth element on top of this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to append a Z-sphere here. Just grab this here, make sure I save. Saving is good. Let's grab this here, and I'm just going to make sure I'm in symmetry. There we go. Let's draw this out here. And I'm just looking for some base geometry to get so I can start sculpting. There we go. I can then hit A, make that a polymesh 3D. Let's group that together. There we go. There we go. Let's delete that Z-sphere out of there. Actually, I'm going to take this guy and make sure I clone him as well. Don't want to lose anything you've done. And let's take this Z-sphere. Let's go ahead and delete it. Now let's append that merged piece of geometry here. And this is going to be like one of those like cloth surfaces they do over it. Let's take this guy. Let's make sure we're in symmetry mode. Okay, we're good. Cool. So now I'm going to grab this guy, start smashing it into place. Maybe smooth it down a little bit. So now he's got like the cobra neck. So another fun thing we can do with this guy, maybe add these up here so it looks like it bolts into this connection here. Let's take this guy And now let's add some additional complexity here. I'm going to go ahead and isolate these guys, these pieces here. I'm going to group them together. And now I'm going to delete this centerpiece here. So I'm going to go to delete hidden. Get out of here. Get out of here, thing. I hate you. Get out of there. Let's go to delete hidden. And now I'm going to run a panel loops operation on this guy so I can extrude from this geometry. So I'm just going to create a little bit of thickness, panel loop it. Not quite thick enough yet for me. Let's panel loop it again. There we go. I'm going to say that's pretty good to go off of. Let's solo this out. I have dynamic turned on. So let's, now that we've got these pieces here, let's grab them, smashing them into place. Maybe this actually comes underneath here. There we go. And I'm going to subdivide this up. And now we can actually do some sculpting. And I'm just going to start sculpting some cloth in here, some cloth wrinkles. Make sure I turn lazy mouse on. I have this set to a hotkey. And I'm just being rough and dirty with it. Nice, rough and dirty. Just to break up the surface a bit. Smooth it down. Sculpt. Let's do some of this stuff. Sculpt. And what I can do also is now that I've got this piece, I can go ahead and Dynamesh that. I don't need quite as much resolution, so I'm going to take that to 256. Turn blur off. Okay, so now I've got this as a Dynamesh, and I can even take this and go ahead and do an insert cylinder. Let's grab this guy right here, and let's just go ahead and Boolean this guy out. Let's just Boolean that out. There we go. Now I've got a hole cut in there. And I can, continue to shape this out. So now we've got some cool cloth elements that we've added to our character. Let's do this. There we go. So you can see just in the short time that I've been demoing for you, just how fast it is to create something like this. Let's go back to our standard brush. I'd probably spend a bit more time on my cloth sculpting, but that's fine. I'm going to go to my pinch brush here, maybe pinch up some stuff. So there we go. Very, very fast. Let's turn perspective on. Let's go ahead and save this out real quick. Save this for the goods. And let's go ahead and throw a nice material on it, maybe some kind of metal material, if I can find it. Let's grab, our basic material, something with a little speck and shine. Don't know where blend. Ah, there we go. There's our handy dandy blend. Let's light it real quick. So there you go. Very, very fast way to create. So then with as much time as you want, as you tend to have, you can always add more detail on. So I'm going to add a layer here. I'm going to go to Surface Noise. And we're going to jump into the Noisemaker. Now let's go into the Noise plugin. And let's try some like hex tile. Hex tiling is always popular. Or grid. I may just jump into the grid. Let's scale this down. Let's size up the amount of strength here. And I just consider this stuff happy accidents. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I'll just take it. I'll hit OK and apply to mesh. OK, so the reason why it looks that low is because I don't have enough topology there to support it. So I'm going to subdivide that up to 1.8 million. Let's now apply that to mesh. There we go. Look at that. So then I can just take this guy and continue working with it. Pinch it down. Go. There's something like that in here. Let's grab the inflate tool. Oop, too much. Let's just tap that in a little bit. And let's grab our standard brush. Let's just carve a place in for a screw. Now that I've got this guy here, I can go just go into the basic kind of stuff that comes with Zbrush, these machine parts. And let's just grab this. I don't know. Let's just grab something that looks sufficiently complex. Just grab that in there, rotate that around. If you just tap, your transpose tool. You can just, there we go, smash that into place. And there you go. Now if I want to just continue doing more stuff, I'll just go as long as time allows, really. Whatever you want. Why not add some solar shields? There you go. Let's add some like little knobblies here. I'm just going to go with the more standard. There we go. This insert cylinder guy here. I'm going to turn off snap. There we go. And actually, I like this. I'm going to keep that, so I'm going to delete the curve. See, happy accidents. That's what it's about. So there we go. Oop. There we go. Let's delete that curve. So, short amount of time, we got a really awesome, hyper tech mech. I don't know if there's a word for it, but there you go. So, thank you everyone. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you enjoyed it.